Hey, welcome to another episode. Wait, hold on. This is way too loud. Give me 1 second.
Oh, shit.
Something happened. Oh, yeah. Why did that get up so loud? That's interesting. All right, here we go now. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And wait, not to match my energy, we are live on a Saturday morning.
I'm sorry.
Ready to do some podcasting Saturday night.
I am here. I am in the house.
All right. Saturday afternoon, we're doing some podcasting. It's all about the stuff you had to say. It's feedback time. I want to thank everybody for the Blackout Tips celebration day. People were taking pictures and tagging us to it on Instagram. It was all in our stories. People were congratulating on our 20th anniversary as a wedding, as a marriage. Thank you. I guess
as a record label and a crew.
Yes. We appreciate y'all for taking the time out for that. And it's definitely, we're very grateful to be doing what we're doing and to have the support that we have and the connections and the friendships and relationships. Thank you to everybody that said anything, because you don't have to be here to listen to this. You don't have to share that. You don't have to say anything, and you still take the time out to do it. So thank you. All right. Feedback time. Y'all know what it is. We got to talk about the people that donated, the people that left comments, the people that voted in the polls, the people that emailed, the people that left voicemails, the people that sent us things in the mail, although we didn't get anything this week. But the point being, we got to talk about it. We're going to talk with you, talk at you, talk about you, and the things you had to say. The people left us 5-star reviews. We're going to talk about them as well. The official weapon of the show is
the taser,
and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball,
and bullet ball extreme. And I say we give props to the people that took the time out to write them checks to fill up our donations. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own, Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Blackout Tips.
That's right. New day, new cash. Let's talk about the people that left us these dividends. We got a one-time donation, a very special love offering from Dr. April. Thank you, Dr. April. She says, happy anniversary. Love, Dr. April. Thank you.
Thank you.
Celeste VB. Thank you very much for that recurring donation. Monica T. Somebody's just got deleted. Mariano. Jason F. Tyrone M. Call him. Waste Bees Basura. Michael Irvin, the Playmaker. Jasmine A. Sarah B. Allison H. Mary H, Jonathan W, Deborah O, Michael F, Stefan H, Brian B, Jonathan H, a lot of H's this week, Corey B, and lastly Jeff M. Thank you, everybody took time out to throw us a little cash our way, a little spending change, a little pocket money. We appreciate it. Okay, this is how we get the Jets. Creflo might have gave up on the
but we ain't.
Yeah, he might have gave up on
he
that.
Gave up on his dream.
Pastoral pimping, but we not. All right. 5-star reviews, got 2 of them.
Let's go.
This is from Applejacks26, who says the black guy who tips on hardwood floors.
Oh,
10 across the board. Thank you
for
that 5-star review. We love to see it.
10
It's our favorite. Our girl Catherine Heller.
Hey baby,
SPK Heller 2012. She says this is the podcast you need in your life. There aren't any words I know to describe as to why you need to subscribe to this podcast. Kay and Rod are the best. And if you like news, humor, more news and humor, this is your go-to. Love you, Kay and R. Catherine from Brooklyn. I hope everything's good with you, Catherine.
Yes, me too.
Last time we saw her, she was healing up. and she was talking about going on a cruise and all this stuff. We had a great time hanging out with her at the park. She bought us sweets, so she will forever be our fave.
Yes, they were absolutely delicious.
Listen, we're cheap dates, all right?
Right? It don't take a lot.
You buy some snacks,
and we're all in.
And, you know, okay, we give it up easy. All right. Let's we're what they like to call fun girls, okay? All right, we had comments all throughout the week. The first episode was a feedback episode called HDCUs. And we got 2 comments there. Appia from Germany says, the therapist who got fired. My impression is she wanted to brand herself as a therapist who swears and talks hard, but with a heart of gold. This didn't work out, and now she's disappointed and mad. It could be, man. I think the hard thing for people with the internet now is like we are constantly branding ourselves, but almost nobody truly thinks of themselves as a brand, meaning with the consequences that we would attach to a brand, right? Like if Coca-Cola had a TikTok account, which I'm sure they do, but if the content of Coca-Cola's TikTok account was cussing at people and calling them bitch and motherfuckers and shit, we will be like, this is extremely unprofessional. This is very problematic. And
what is happening over at Coca-Cola?
Right. Eventually, I will not want to support them anymore. Right. And I think the similar things are happening with people, and people aren't ready for it. And we don't realize that it's happening to us every day, which is you're a brand. There's plenty of opinions and thoughts I have. I don't even share them on this podcast with y'all. Because it's just like, I understand that there has to be some level of this is one, I'm saving stuff for me in my personal life. Like everything in my life ain't for, sale and all that. But also just literally it's not good for our brand. It doesn't add anything and it can hurt you. And I think all of us have to think like that to a certain extent because we all have these social media accounts now.
Yeah, but like you said, the average person does it because they separate themselves. But they understand AT&T and Verizon and Duke Power and all these other companies. You associate them with a brand, but you don't associate your individual self as a brand. And like you said, that's a very hard concept because it used to didn't be like that. People used to be like, I can say what I want to say without certain consequences, repercussions. And the internet has showed you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, one of the things I don't like about TikTok in particular and like Instagram Live and stuff like that is how people that want to flourish on there, you need to create content multiple times a day typically.
Yeah, and consistently.
And yeah, that's what I mean. Multiple times a day typically. It's an escalating platform, by which I mean very few people completely stay in their lane. You want to get more popular. You want to get more interaction, which means you're going to start saying shit. And eventually you're going to say some shit that to stand out or whatever that you might not would have said before. And I think that's where you see a lot of these people get in trouble because if you look at that woman's content, it was an escalation. It wasn't like day one she just started doing that. It was like as more and more feedback came in, the people were talking shit about her and people were agreeing with her. You start escalating what you're saying. Next thing you know, somebody's trying to get you because they've been fighting with you all day and you finally said something they can like act on.
Yeah, I see somebody in chat, they said they wonder if I have a brand. You do. And the thing is like companies, they're big companies and they're medium-sized companies and they're small companies, but they're all a brand. And people don't look at, I ain't got no followers, anybody follow me, but somebody is into them. You are a brand. One
of the things I think about a lot of times, and this is even before I started writing on game theory, sometimes I just think about like the people you might end up having to work with or meet.
Correct.
It's a very small thing to think about, but with our podcast, I always tell that story about Fonte. I won't repeat the whole story here, but just in general, like, yeah, man, the stuff we say matters. And if I'm saying something to get a whole lot of like, oh my God, Rod, I love Rod and the way he be going in on people, that's gonna come. If I start feeding that, I'm gonna start saying stuff that is less me and more, Showtime me. And Showtime me might say some shit that I really don't believe or can't stand behind, or I'm embellishing it. And then in real life, it's like I'm not expecting to have this level of pushback, or I'm not thinking about the human being that I'm talking about. So yeah, I think that happens to people, and I think it's still unfortunate that happened to her, because I'll keep re-emphasizing, I agree with a lot of the sentiment of what she said. If you say it that way, it's going to be problems.
Mm-hmm.
Sean says, I write those dense posts to be clear, concise, and productively add background info. Most of it is off the top of my head, by the way. I don't need to wiki. That being said, it does often follow an escalation of density pattern that is designed to set you up for either wrapping it early and then sharing all y'all's thoughts, or roasting me for being all smarty. I really enjoy how you respond to feedback and try to respond in a way that's productive and respectful. Take care and feel free to roast me as much as you like. Thanks, Sean, for being a good sport. You know, I think a light roasting is fun. You know, I try not to be mean spirited.
Oh no.
It just means that you're part of the crew now.
Yes.
You're writing enough, and we get used to people's waves and rhythms, and then it's like, is it okay that I'm having this funny thought and I want to say it with you? And listen, most of the time it's cool. Every once in a while somebody get offended, and it's like, I guess this ain't the show for you.
Right. I agree, because you know that's how we show love. But I understand for some people, because of life and things they've been through, ain't nothing funny. Well, then this ain't for you.
Yeah, we had a few like, I'm not writing the show note. Well, then I guess y'all don't want feedback. You know, we've had a few of those people in the past, and that sucks, but it is what it is. Our Game of Thrones recaps, I don't listen to them. I listen, but I don't watch TV show. I listen and I watch the TV show. 21% do not listen to our Game of Thrones recaps. They voted in this poll, but they skipped these episodes. 24% listen, but they don't even watch the TV show, which to me is an extremely high percentage. Like, I just like y'all podcast so much, I don't care what y'all talking about.
I just showed up because some new shit hit the feed.
And 55% say I listen and I watch the TV show. Now, my real question is, for the people that don't watch the TV show but still enjoy the reviews, I just wonder if it's as funny to them as it is for people that watch it, because then they have the reference for what we're talking about. But anyway, I'm assuming it's funny. They keep coming back, but wow.
And I think even with The Walking Dead, I think for a lot of people, it's literally story time. Like for them, just the way we describe it and things going on, they're caught up in the characters. It's like, I don't have to physically see the characters to understand the concept and the storyline. And I think for a lot of them people that don't watch, they're like, hey, I don't watch, but if somebody asks me a question at work, I won't be so lost. I won't feel like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Absolutely. It's just interesting that, I guess to me, it's a testament to how good we do a thorough, like recap, not even a review, really a thorough recap of it, because people can leave and go, I know enough of it to keep coming back. The poll results for Spotify were the exact same, like every percentage. Like, I think it was a 1% difference. 21%, I don't listen to them on our site. 22%, and everything else is the same. The Magnum State University was a comment. Rachel says, I don't listen to the recaps. I went for a long time not watching the show and then did a huge binge. I will watch the new series and listen. Might even do a Game of Thrones rewatch and go back and listen. All right, get on that crack. Raphael says, I'm ready to return back to college for a master's and PhD in Dragoons NFTs. Let's have that Pell Grant and hook up to the admission. K-Rod, I'm listening to y'all. Listening to y'all is my references, and maybe Andy Klein. Aaron says, how to orgasm 101. Yeah. Go to the Magnum State University. And then someone had brought up in an email later, they brought up reading comments on the YouTube, because I don't really read them on the show. Normally just because I think it'll make the show too long, but I'll give it a shot. Y'all been leaving comments.
Okay.
So for HDCUs, we got 2 comments on YouTube. Joe Byron pulled a Karen. What's that lady's name? Got $150K at PPP loan forgiveness. Too funny. And
yes, he did.
Ian Harrison just left a heart emoji.
Oh.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the next episode, which is Sorry Negroes. Sorry Negroes has 10 comments.
Oh shit, y'all had something to say.
This is crazy.
What the hell are we talking about?
I don't even remember what it could have been.
We talk about so much shit.
Appia left a comment. Appia's Pharma Corner. A study without a control group is rather weak. It can be used as a trend, but never for the approval of a drug. Too much space for errors and bias in it. Clinical studies are extremely expensive. My company spends huge amounts of money on it, and sometimes it works out, other times it doesn't. The money is spent, for example, on paying the volunteers. I'd rather do that than test new drugs on, for example, prisoners who didn't choose it. Like, for sure, it is done in countries run by dictators. That said, BioNTech is a German company from the city of Mainz, that's 30 minutes from my city. The Pfizer vaccine was developed by BioNTech, a rather new company that needed Pfizer for distribution, infrastructure, and financing. The founders, a German married couple with Turkish roots, got their education at German's free college. The lady even went to the same university as I did, so I read about it, not like I know her. You can have free colleges and capitalism. I know, right? It's crazy.
It's crazy to me too.
To piggyback on Appia's comment, says Sean, part of my PhD studies involve meta-analysis of pharmaceutical research. Drug trials without a control group are basically useless because placebos often have an effect. Furthermore, the best drug trials are comparative efficacy research, which compares two or more drugs with each other and, again, a control group. Usually, these are not done by pharmaceutical companies from the ones I read, but by the universities or learning hospitals. I didn't know that Appia was working at BioNTech. I've been following Dr. Carrico's research since 2008 paper on the use of pseudoridine. I don't know how to pronounce
some of them big words.
That's amazing. I know, I agree. Listen, ever since Dr. Carrico's research came out in 2008,
we've been all about it.
Okay,
I mean, it is mind blowing.
I stand Dr. Carrico down. They know me. They call me the Dr. Carrico kid. Jadakwi says, CCC. What you didn't say about this sister's TikTok is that this was Dr. Hadassah pre-PhD, or at least someone in her cohort, because even Dr. Hadassah makes more sense than that latest post. Oh, the woman that was talking about Drew Barrymore. Janica says, this is a top 3 Karen episode. Hilarious chef kiss.
Thank you.
Sean says, shame on you, Rod. How dare you disparage honey mustard dressing for salads? I've been ordering honey mustard dressing on my salad since 1991. It is the best off the menu choice of salad dressings, hand down.
You bought honey mustard gang out.
Well, in the South I don't know where Sean lives, but it ain't off the menu in the South. It's on the menu. Like it's one of the dressings listed. I just people just don't generally order it.
I absolutely love it.
However, if you want the best dressing, you order salads or a salad with 2 dressings if they let you, and you get honey mustard and blue cheese dressings on the side, of course, and add a touch of blue cheese to your honey mustard, and it's amazing.
I've never done that.
Well, you should, now that you and him are such best friends.
And I'm just saying, I've never.
Well, yeah, you should now.
I wouldn't even thought about that.
Well, now you've thought about it. You should. Next time we get a salad, this is definitely what you're gonna do.
If I remember,
I won't let you forget.
Thank you. Don't let me forget.
Honey mustard and blue cheese dressing is what you're gonna be mixing together and putting on your salad. You
leave me alone.
I'm only trying to help.
I'm just saying.
Your friend wrote in with a suggestion, and I'm helping you.
And I'm saying it is duly noted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I forget my thought. Oh. When it comes to the dressings, yes, it's on the menu. I absolutely love it. But that, like I said, that is a different combo.
Mm-hmm. If you mix it at home, you can replace it with mayo, with 50% Japanese mayo, because it's so much better than American mayo, and 25% blue cheese dressing. You will end up with a little less dressing, but it is just the right balance for most recipes. Add a dash of smoked chipotle and a sprinkle of sansho pepper, and you will never go back to lesser dressings. I'll take your word for it. Danny S17 says honey mustard used as a dressing be bussin'. It's great for chicken nuggets and tenders too, but y'all know that. I use it as a marinade or baked chicken as well, and add herbs to make it more savory.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
About the Guess the Race Wendy shooting, it's messed up that the people riding in the car got arrested and charged something too.
Right.
I feel like they only did this to them because they black. Because if this is white people, they would have realized that maybe they were scared to report it for fear of being shot as well. Possibly. That is one thing though. If you don't report that shit, like the clock is ticking. Like if you somewhere and your homie do a crime and your ass is gonna look like accessory after the fact or whatever, the clock is actually really ticking for how long you got to not report that shit.
And I don't know what the time frame is, so I say immediately, as soon as you are out of harm's way.
Because I'll be watching all these For My Man, Fatal Attraction ass shows, and a whole lot of people go down for accessory after the fact just because they didn't call the police. They waited till the police came and found them 2 weeks later, and they like, oh yeah, I seen it. He definitely killed that person. They be like, and why you ain't say shit? Like, you going to jail too. E. Bailey says, I agree with what y'all are saying about Sydney Sweeney. We all have those relatives and none of us want to sit home alone on the holidays. I guess I wouldn't blame people if they were just upset that she posted the picture. My aunt, who I love and visit, wants R. Kelly out of jail. I just gather my things when she goes there. If we took a picture and her t-shirt said free R. Kelly, I wouldn't post it because I view it as promoting a message I don't agree with. Hell, I wouldn't even be in that picture, LOL. But maybe it was an oversight, or maybe she didn't know or care. Well, here's the thing. Sydney Sweeney didn't take a picture with anybody wearing that stuff. There were a couple of red hats in the background, way in the back, in like a video. Then people went and found her family that was tagged, or the family other that were at the events.
Yeah, they was posting stuff
and
on social
that's when
media.
they found like other pictures that had like the mock hat or the 60, make 60 great again. Then they went and followed her like brother, and her brother actually does seem to be a Trump supporter, but it's all on his page, nothing with Sydney in it.
Right.
But people, they did the math into like, she supports MAGA or she won't, abandon her family for us viewers of her TV show. I just thought that was ridiculous.
Yes, sir.
And I really do try to be fair to people on here, celebrity or not celebrity, but that to me was such a stretch. Is just people wanted to be mad. And also that woke TikToker has to relax. She's reacting to something that hasn't happened, which is Vogue magazine tweeting how Drew Barrymore invented frolicking, a la Kim Kardashian popularizing boxer braids, or white influencers being credited with monetizing black trends. It's PTSD, I suppose, but it'll have the Streisand effect. Yeah, I don't know what that woman was thinking. That did not work out. E. Bailey says, also, I remember Rod saying that he knew himself well enough to not get a dog because in 6 months they'll be wearing matching outfits. That's true. Well, I got my first dog 2 years ago at 38, and I've turned into a complete white woman about animals, trying to go vegetarian and crying about all the animals. I'm sure I'm definitely guilty of animal abuse in terms of clothing, but Nike is killing kangaroos. So anyway, I'm looking at these Nike protesters thinking they should have jumped this smug ass, LOL. Here's my thing. I think that dude was being a dick that ate the food in front of the vegan or the animal protesters. Also, if they would have whooped his ass, I would have just thought it was funny. I'm not saying people should just go be violent, blah, blah, but it was the smugness on his face as he did it that made me be like, yeah, he picked the right people. Because if this would have been some other group, they would have just whooped his fucking ass real quick and been like, I don't know what was wrong with him. Technically you have the right to do that stuff. It's basically just the thing where someone puts that finger in your face, but they don't touch you with it. And they go, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's basically what he was doing. But, and I guess if it was a cause I was more in tune with, like say, if it was a Black Lives Matter rally and somebody wearing like a Klan hood just stood an inch away from the people and then got their ass whooped, I'd be like, well, that's what happens. That's kind of how I felt about this guy, but just not as strong because I don't care that much about the PETA stuff. EVE says, I love my people, but the lady upset about Drew Barrymore frolicking in the rain was a reach with a Reed Richards arm. Drew was a full-blown drug addict and alcoholic by the time she was 13 in the 80s when everyone did coke. If I survived that, I'd be dancing in the rain too. I love Black girl and boy joy as much as the next person, but not everything has to be about race. A lot of it is, but sometimes you have to pick your battles because this gets exhausting, and I can't imagine it's good for anyone's mental health to be that angry all the time.
Agreed. And that's something that people have a tendency to not understand, and it is very, very, very easily to get swept up underneath that, and it's very easy to get caught up in it. And before you know it, you're mad about everything, and you want to set everything on fire, and you don't know why. And your anger is being manipulated a lot of times to get you to back these causes up. And a lot of times anger is blinding. So a lot of times you'll go out just because you're mad. A lot of times you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. Somebody led you in that direction and you're just following them. And sometimes, a lot of times you're wrong depending on certain situations. And everything does not justify you setting the goddamn fire. Sometimes you got to be like, you know what? This fire ain't worth it. But if you're caught up and there's nobody that's on the internet that's above it. Anybody can get swept up in it. Anybody, you are not above it if you use social media. Even if you just sit and just peek in on social media, you see it, you consume it, it crosses your eyes, you are affected by it. So you as an individual have to make a choice on what you consume and what you don't consume and when you fucking tap out.
Yeah, I agree totally. And she just seemed like a person that was looking for content too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that other part of this that is, hey, I am creating content. I need to find an angle people don't have. And this is the one that went viral for her. And unfortunately to me, I think it's a reach and makes it look bad. What I thought was interesting was even after that, she still was like, y'all tripping. People that brought up like EVE just did. People that brought up Drew Barrymore's like troubled childhood and stuff. She was like, it don't mean she can't be full of white privilege. And it was like, what? But you also were wrong in the first thing.
You were wrong.
Sandler Agnew says, listen, y'all, when my man licked that kebab like Alexander Skarsgård, fucking him up in the Northland, I nodded my head so hard. Thanos sitting on the porch hard. A new legend is born, studying in the face of Peter. I do respect the audacity because I ain't got it.
Hilarious. Me either, but that's hilarious.
Is frolicking only for Black people? Yes, no, or abstain?
No.
No. 90% of people say no. 7% say yes. And one person abstained. I figured they might be white or a hobbit. I don't know. I don't know who frolicking belongs to. And on Spotify, 12% say yes, it is only for Black people. 72% say no. 16% say abstain. I honestly just hope that the ones who say yes see this big ass percentage of people being like no. You know, because that's the other thing, and I guess it's just my makeup. I don't want to fight over everything,
right? And
this ain't even worth fighting about. This is just one of those like petty ass because I said or going off a vibes thing. Like, who wants to own frolicking? That's such a weird thing to want. It's like, what are we gonna take next? Skipping? Is it whoever goes viral with the first skipping down the street vid, that person gets to say only people like me can post videos like this? It's just the internet shit is so stupid, and I think people come up with these dividing lines just so they can argue.
Yes, sir.
Because if you put it on the internet, people, especially TikTok, it trends because people do copy it and use that material. If you don't want anybody to know, then post that shit private and let only you and your friends go do the shit. Anyway, Revenge Meatloaf was a Q&A. Renee says, my mom is also in the honey mustard for salad dressing hive. Karen and her against the world. And Sean. Carly says, I appreciate the petty but hard pass on any meat in loaf form for me. Aaron says, Bodies is a horror movie. Big titty women are constantly in horror movies. I saw the movie and not once thought about her cleavage. I was focused on who the killer was. Chill, girl. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it as a human being. There's attractive people in movies. People look at titties all the time. I'm not trying to like completely turn everything into like this asexual world, and I don't want to pretend to not be human and be like, you know, I don't even notice that Issa Rae is a bronze goddess or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm not even going, but it's like when we do like our movie reviews or something, I'm not gonna be like Issa Rae's in this movie and then spend the next 5 minutes telling you how attractive she is. You know, a lot of people do that reviews that way. And maybe they think there's some humor in that. I know, you know, but it's just, that's not my kind of humor. I also think there's a way, if you're to like, to me, to limit that stuff in your reviews, and possibly, according to her, maybe Amanda wasn't offended and she was just kind of flirting back. I don't know, you know, but when you have so much distrust and assumption of malice on the internet, like just the fact that she messaged that woman who was the reviewer, the woman immediately took it to the most negative place it could go. And it's just hard to get back after that. So that's mostly what I took from it, was like, you know, I don't know that it was some offensive review. Like it, I don't think the whole thing was just like, and them titties, y'all. It was probably a throwaway line that was meant to just kind of pan the film. Amanda responded to it, and then the woman who did the review immediately took it as Lena immediately took it as shade. When I'm like, you shading each other, really?
Yeah, you really are.
You shaded her movie. She left a little bit of a shady DM, and then you start turning into power dynamics and all kinds of shit. Yes. Yeah, but this is also low key why I keep saying this to people. I'm not a community guy, and this is one of the reasons. It took me a while to realize it, but I realize it now. And honestly, my life is better for it. I don't want to be in community with everybody. I don't want to reach out to everybody. I don't want to be friends with everybody.
No, I don't.
People have their own stuff they're dealing with. I know where I'm at in my journey, and a lot of times it don't line up. And I don't need to be friends with people with 37 fucking rules of engagement. I need friends that are easy as I am easy. Hey, you text me, right? What's going on? Cool. Hey, what's up? If you don't text me for a month, there won't be a problem. I won't be mad at you or nothing. I won't
take it personally, but I was shit. They busy. They got shit to do.
Yeah, you call me, you FaceTime, you whatever the fuck. Hey, what's up, man? Like, it's not, you know, if I don't want to FaceTime, I just won't answer your FaceTime. If I don't want to text, then I just wouldn't text you that day. Like,
right.
It doesn't ever mean anything deeper to me, and vice versa. But man, it's.
Yeah, and I've realized as I got older, everybody don't function like that. Because
it's not just that, but we have increasingly become a digital throwaway culture. So like people have changed how they function.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like it used to be a choice. There used to be a time you have a choice but to function like that. You couldn't text. You want to talk to somebody, you pick up the fucking phone and you see them in person. But as we got more options, all of a sudden people start becoming like, it's not even just they became so regimented in what they want to do. It's like, and if you don't, I'm gonna take it personally.
Yes, I'm gonna take it personally. And I think as I've gotten older, I've analyzed a lot of things about friends and friendship, just period in general. And I know how I function. I have one of my closest friends. I've known her since I've been in my early 20s. And me and her may talk once or twice a year on the telephone, like literally. But if shit go down, she know I'm there for her and she's there for me. She got kids. She got a whole ass husband. She got a motherfucking life. She got shit to do. And so, and I do too. I'm busy too. And so a lot of people, like you said, because of technology, a lot of people have gotten this. If I text you, you need to text me back within 30 seconds. Bitch, I'm doing shit. I could be doing anything, you know, and people have got this. If I do something, I want an immediate response, and they take it personal, but it's not personal. I have a life. I have things to do. We're on 12. We're on 10. We're not best, you know, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to friendships, they never got out of the the friendships of as they were children. When you're children, y'all around each other all the time, y'all go to school, shit like that. You know, we everywhere, we do everything all the time. As you get older, your definition of friendship should change. And if you're the type of friend that you need to constantly keep in contact with me, well then we're not gonna function well, because I have shit to do. And I hope you do too. I hope you have a life outside of me. And so as I got older, I realized that some people, I don't meet the needs of their friendship. And that's cool. Like a lot of people, I don't take it personal. I don't meet whatever your friendship needs are. It don't mean we ain't cool. It don't even mean we ain't friends. But it just means that once it comes to certain things, you might have to put me in a separate group than your other friends. And I'm okay with that, because what I realized about friends too, everybody ain't gonna be your best friend, but y'all friends. You have people you go, oh, I know I want to shop, I call that such and such. But outside of that, hey, I know I want to go to the club, I call such and such. You know, you have friends that you put in these different groups. And so, you know, I think that for a lot of people, they don't look at friendship like that. And it's nothing personal towards anybody. But I think a lot of times people don't analyze these things. And a lot of times they don't. I think a lot of people, they think that what they consider a friendship, everybody views friendships the way you do. And I've realized over time that that's not the fact, because like I said, I know I have very high standards for what I think a friendship is. And I realize that my standards are higher than most, because there's some things that I see people do online stuff. I'm like, oh, we couldn't be friends because I wouldn't tolerate that in my friendship.
Yeah. And I think even with the, like it, for me, it's not even just considering friendship, like it's community, quote unquote, which means it's also just like strangers. Because, you know, like to make it to friends is like a big deal for me.
It is.
Everybody's not my friend. I have a handful of people I consider friends. And it still is growing as I get older. It's not whittling down, but it's just not the casual amount of extra access that so many people seem to be cool with. And part of it is because of stuff like this. Like you DM somebody, you comment on their page, and then next thing you know, it's like they're mad, they're taking it personal, they're acting shady or weird, and you're like, what the fuck did I do? This seems like an irrational response.
Correct.
But and whatever they're going through on their side, you can't be privy to, so you don't even know what's going on. And I just don't like those interactions. I can't deal with it. Kadian says yes to the revenge loaf, but also justice for honey mustard dressing. Sometimes the best of the worst salad dressings available. Don't hate on this versatility as a sauce / dressing. The best of the worst is already you throwing shade at it. So I think you should look at your own evaluation of the dressing.
I absolutely love it. And Roger knows, he knows me. I will order that shit in a heartbeat.
On the YouTube, we got 2 comments. Simone says, okay, I really thought that the congregation yelled to Jesus at the ridiculous pastor because he was complaining about the watch and they were calling on God. But then them fools kept going and loudly agreeing. My God did not tell them to say that mess. Alicia says, Chick-fil-A sauce, I put that shit on everything. They sell the bottles now.
They do. And I got a bottle.
Yeah, she does.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the next episode, which is 2591. Turn down Tabitha Brown for what?
Right.
7 comments. I am Sasha Pierce says Karen has been on fire lately, both on the Blackout Tips and 3 Guys On, even more than her usual awesome self. Flame emojis, heart emoji.
Oh, thank you.
I voted no in the poll because I've been lucky enough to never encounter a dress code being used in a racist way. I've encountered other shit though. Apia says people who criticize fat people because they claim to be worried about their health, I don't believe them. It's not like thin equals healthy. It's way more complicated. One thing that is better in pop culture now compared to 20 years ago is that we have more body diversity, at least somehow. I like it. Even that I was regular size, I always had the feeling I had to be thinner to be more attractive,
right? More
successful, more acceptable. When I was younger, I'm okay with myself now.
Yeah, you know, and particularly being a woman, you have to learn how to grow into your own body. And when you're younger, You know, that's the thing. Thin and the itty bitty waist and all that type of stuff. And everybody ain't built like that. Even when they're young,
also
everybody not built like that.
Even people that are built like that, if you can't appreciate your body, people have body dysmorphia. There's all kinds of anxiety. People have other conditions. People can have an eating disorder, but they look a certain way.
Right.
Like we just judge a lot of shit off of how people look and what we've decided is healthy on the outside. And you know, there's people I knew that binge drank, smoke, you know, be in the hospital for all kinds of like liver problems and shit, but they look good, you know, and it's like they look a certain way, so it's just like they're fine. And somebody else, you know, Lizzo could be torn and all that stuff, and people go, I see everything it takes for her to be able to do what she does with her body, and I still see a fat woman, and therefore she's unhealthy. And the main thing that I think is comes from this is that you kind of have to learn to not give a fuck. And I think that's why you see so many people and it's a tokenization thing, but I get why it happens, which is a lot of people look towards fat black women who like are loud and wear what they want and all this shit as like inspiration and shit, because they're like, why can't I not care the way they care? And it's like what you're seeing is a person fighting. Like you're seeing a person that's fighting against all this shit, telling them you ain't shit or you ain't good enough or you'll never be blank and blank. And I think it's that type of spirit that a lot of people are attracted to because they want to have that. That's why people always talk about people being brave and shit. And people go, I'm not brave. This is how I look and I'm living my life. But to a certain extent, it's like they're downplaying it, but you are being somewhat brave because there's a constant attack on you. And they're just, it is, I know they're patronizing, trying to be complimentary, but they honestly are recognizing and not gaslighting you, going, yeah, you are constantly being attacked. You are constantly being judged. You are constantly being talked to crazy. And yeah, even when it's a person that looks like Ari Spears talking about a person that looks like Lizzo, I'm thinking to myself, like, he is a person that has his own hangups and self-hate that would even lead him to even think he should be down that road. Not to mention the way he said it and where it was said, it was just gonna get the reaction. He knew what reaction it would get. I think he didn't care that would be the reaction, and he's more than happy that he got talked about, and that's all that matters to him. R.D. Miller says, I'm hearing the Tabitha Brown segment, or after hearing it, I immediately set the DVR to record her show. I watched her show the same day, which I think helps the ratings to watch shows within so many days of airing. Yeah, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed it. E. Bailey says, Ari Spears is so sad and damn near tragic to me. He's really unhappy about his career. So he's just become miserable and decided to spread it around. That's exactly what I think happened.
We talked about that earlier today on Three Guys On, but back to the Tabitha Brown.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie. If it was not for COVID, she coming to Charlotte to the Blumenthal thing. If it wasn't for COVID, I was about to get me and your mama some tickets, but I was like, fuck you, COVID. Sorry. I was just a little irritated because I want to see her. She's doing the tour.
It's interesting that, actually, no, I'm not worried about it.
What's up?
I was going to say, it's interesting that you want to go to the Hornets game. I don't know what's the difference between going to that or going to see Tabitha Brown for you.
Great question. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that because I really was like, ooh, she gonna be in Charlotte. And I was about to hit click and call your mama and be like, you know what, girl, we going to the show.
The Champs podcast, Rest in Peace, where he admitted to his anger, bitterness, and asking Neil Brennan what he thought was holding him back. Funny thing is, Neil kept telling him that he used to be an attractive guy and he wasn't anymore. Ari said everyone was telling him that. Yeah, I know it's the most cliche bullshit in the world, and I get the black and white, and we don't want to feel empathy or whatever for people. And as an empath, it's a little harder for me to turn it off, but I respect that. But it's almost always true. People like that have something that hurt them, and they're spreading all this fucking pain to the world. It doesn't make what they're doing not egregious or less hurtful towards other people or any of that shit. But if you drill down hard enough, you almost always find something like that. It's that thing where people it's that thing where somebody can be two things at once, you know, where people go, racism isn't a mental illness. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. It's not. Okay. Also, there are people that are racist and mentally ill. Mm-hmm. And there are people whose mental illness feeds into whatever that is in them. And yes, that, like, you know, it's that when someone says, like a thing people say is like, you know, that person shot up that black supermarket. That was mental illness. And people go, no, that was just racism. I'm like, no, killing 50 people is gonna always be some level of mental illness too.
Right. It's
like
it
two things.
Mixture.
Yeah, like
right.
Someone else might do it because it's women. We don't go, well, they just were sexist. We go, no, they were sexist, but the access to that weapon and the mental illness to go kill a bunch of people with no remorse, those things all exist at once. And I think that's what I think of with Aries Spears. I'm like, I feel like he's a terrible person, and I feel like he's bitter and kind of incel-y and a bunch of other negative things and kind of a troll, and but also he's clearly sad. Yes. And a lot of times anger is sadness that doesn't have anywhere else to go, or you won't let it go anywhere else. And so he's taking it out. And it's not just Lizzo. People are just saying it because they like Lizzo. He's taking it out on so many people. Most of the time it's just ho-hum, like, I don't care. I'm not, but he just finally talked about somebody that has a following that wanted to clap back.
Right.
But yeah, the episode turned into a life coaching session. He had a flat top back then, and that was almost 10 years ago. Yeah, he also supposedly doesn't let black comedians open for him when he's on the road and shit. Like, it just seemed like a lot. He has a lot of issues, and this was just us getting reintroduced to these fucking issues. Appia says, I was a size 8 or so when I was the most insecure, and I'm a tall woman, but in the late 90s, it seemed that only extremely thin women were okay, and I'm glad that this changed. Yeah, it's still weird because, like, I saw, I don't want to take which brand it was, but it was one of these like fashion brands that you think of, like an Abercrombie and Fitch / Gap or whatever. But somebody had put out they had done one of those like full size plus size model pictures for their clothes, and it was mocked so hard, and so many people came down on it, and a lot of them being right-wing people, but I would imagine there's a lot of people on the left that also would have talked shit, because you know, picking on fat people is kind of like universal,
right?
It got mocked so hard they took the ad down.
And
I mean, within like less than like an hour or so.
The thing is about, inclusion, because particularly in America, the average woman is like a size between a size 10 to like a size 14, you know, somewhere around those ranges. And it's one of those things where it's like people want to be fed the lie. That's what I realized. People want to be fed the lie, and they want to be fed this thing, and they've been fed this thing for so long they don't know what else to consume. So when you have brands that are like, hey, everybody's not a size 8, and everybody go, yeah, we know that. Well, then let's represent all these diverse people. People turn around and get mad because they have a rejection of the reality that you say you want. And so it can become very frustrating. It can become very anger inducing, because the thing is, just because people are larger sizes don't mean they won't look like a sackcloth or look like a fucking flower girl.
It's just, I don't know what, it's just frustrating because it's like, what do you want the people to do?
Right.
Like, I know you want them to lose weight, but everybody can't lose weight immediately, snap a finger, and it's like, boom. So is there just not supposed to be no clothes for people that are fat? Is there just not supposed to be any ads for fat people? Because it's not like,
right, and you're not supposed to be sexy, you're not supposed to feel good about yourself,
or if you're just not into it, then don't be into it. I don't know,
right?
It's just, I never get the point of this shit, and the anger about it. I just don't get the anger. Like, everybody is attracted to whatever kind of person they're attracted to,
right?
Which means there's also a bunch of kind of people they're probably not attracted to. People just feel very comfortable advertising that about certain groups of people, and it's like, you know, this fat person shouldn't be able to buy underwear or whatever. It's just like, what? or they should buy their underwear in shame behind the dumpster at Target. It's like, just calm the fuck down, man. Evie says, Ari Spears is getting dragged, and deservedly so. But I think the same people who drag Lizzo for no damn reason are people who are unhappy and insecure in their own lives, like Jason Whitlock, who had something froggy to say about Lizzo. And you know that dude is miserable, having to constantly tap dance for Massa. The more hate she gets, the just means like she said, she's winning, and I'm here for it. Yeah. Jason is another dude that hate himself, and has spent a long time making that pain the world's pain. I'll never forget he wrote that shit about Serena Williams being fat and stuff, and it's just like, are you fucking insane? Like, who do you think you are? You know, and clearly that dude, something happened. I don't know what happened. I've read theories. Something happened in his life. He's fucked up, and now it's our business. I'm just like, keep it to yourself. I love that Tabitha Brown is gonna keep on shining. I don't understand why Food Network would want her to change when her personality is the reason they hired her in the first place. Make it make sense. I don't either. I don't get it.
Right.
So
right. We hired you because of your personality, but now we want you to change. And she's like, I'm not doing that. Like I said, she didn't go into details on what they asked her to do, but I guarantee you it's fundamentally some of the things that people are drawn to.
And they better hope she don't.
Right.
Because like, this is the kind of, like, she don't need them. And you know, her contract can end with them, and she might come out and be like, this is what they said. Look, and like, maybe at that point we'll see it really is her. Like, maybe it will be that they asked her something completely fucking reasonable and she just went off, and we'll be like, oh wow, I guess she was a diva. But I don't know. I have no reason to assume, unless I'm just assuming black people just be going crazy for no reason. Like, I'm more than likely she's probably saving them by not saying what the fuck it was. And another reason I think is probably not on her is because we haven't seen any leaks from the studio or the channel into the media, because they normally like to get ahead of this, and even if it's a lie, be like, no, she's the one that's a diva. All we said was, ma'am, may we please do this? And then she said, shut your crack ass up, you know.
Yeah, I agree, because they like to release them press statements.
Right. Some anonymous would have been out there. Mary says, about the Google employees' frustration at the exposure notification since going back to the office. This makes me furious. I had to go to the office, and we also received the weekly notifications, and yet management insists on trying to reinstate firm culture. Pre-pandemic, we were known as a lifestyle firm. We had great events, tons of snacks, and stylish office with couches and TVs to replicate being at home. Now, 2.5 years into the pandemic, they've made us come back to the office 3 days a week, and I refuse to let firm culture go. Last week, they held a miniature golf. Oh, and they refused to let firm culture go. And last week, they held a miniature golf tournament at the office. Fun, right? You know what's funner? Me staying my ass at home that day. They playing Dodger nights and ABBA concerts, which I guess. But who wants to do that with work people? They try to tell us that work people were our family, but then the pandemic hit and I had to stay home. I found I had a real family and they weren't at work.
Right.
Anyway, I hope they give up this work culture nonsense soon. Just let me stay at home. Yep, agreed.
And I think they're scared that for the first time in some people's lives, jobs are scared that you're going to figure out that they are not your life. It's a transaction. And that's all it is. And once people figure out, oh, this is a transaction, I can do shit, all of a sudden they're going to realize employees going to have options. And they was like, no, get your ass back to work. We can't have y'all out here being free. We can't have y'all out here thinking on your own. We can't have y'all, out here looking for other jobs, because that's the thing. A lot of times people go, I would like for another job, but shit, I don't have the time to look for another job. That's why you have people now go, fuck it. Well, since I'm here, I'm going to look for the job while I'm here. I can't do it any other time because, bitch, when I get home, I'm fucking tired and I want to go to sleep. So I think for a lot of jobs, they are afraid that the masses have seen through it, and particularly the younger generation that have bought all in on this we the family shit. They don't want that. They want to keep that going. So this is one reason why a lot of jobs are like, hey, we know if we quote unquote force you to come back, we'll lull you back into the same mentality where people go, hey, I realize I'm not as stressed at home. I realize I have a family and it ain't y'all. You know, like they realized these things. They was like, we can't have y'all here being free.
Yeah, I got PTSD. I'm not ready yet.
Right.
I'm not ready to be a family. The poll, have you ever felt a restaurant use the dress code as an excuse to discriminate against you? Yes or no? 70% no, 30% yes. I definitely yes. I know there's been like a bar or two where you can't wear athletic shoes, and you look in there and you see a motherfucker with athletic shoes. The thing was, I got in because this was I don't really club or go out like that, but this is at the time where I had white friends, and because I was the black guy with those white people, they would let me in.
Yeah, they assumed he was the bodyguard. If
I was by myself, I wouldn't get let in, and I saw other black people sometimes didn't get in. It's crazy. The next one is Asher and Bro cooked that up. $25.92. My brother was on. Asher was on. Up and coming artist.
That was fun.
Thank you. I thought it was fun too. RD Miller says, "Hey, Lady Kareem. Okay, Raj. I am admitting up front that I messed up the poll. I voted foul before hearing the segment. Then I voted fair. Oops, I agree with the prosecutor. The poll was about is it fair or foul to use the lyrics from a rap in a prosecution? If you live your raps, expect to suffer the consequences. Now, the real reason I came here to leave a comment was to say I was super excited about this episode. I love any time that mother, father, or bro tips are on the show. Also, I left the same comment on YouTube. Have you ever considered including the YouTube comments on the feedback show? Well, that's what we been doing now, you know. Oh shit, did I do the last one?
Go back.
Tabitha?
No, I don't think you did.
Okay, we got one. Oh, and this you can leave a minute mark at 1:20:30.
Oh.
They should have asked the security guard who kicked the camera crew out if he has been kicked out of the restaurant. Ah, it's a good one. Yes. That racist Memphis restaurant. So back to the comments on this. Danny says, I voted foul only because prosecutors rarely if ever use lyrics of songs from other genres against the artist. Yeah, I hate that you did that, Danny, because I think your reasoning might be a bit off here, and here's why. People are acting like the prosecutors go to court and just pull out the album and then they throw the people in jail. That's not what's happening. And if the other genre artist would have a song that was about the crimes they committed and happened to match up, they would use them. I don't think they're like, fuck, this guy is accused of 7 murders, but he's a country music artist. And we would use it if it was rap. But the country music song about killing 7 people, that no one believed that. You know, like I really think other genres just don't be spitting like that for the most part. But if you do the crimes and just coincidentally as a cherry on top, your lyrics say you did the crime, I don't know, dog. I don't know. E. Bailey says, I'm of 2 minds about using rap lyrics in court. If I say I put 3 in Johnny's body and Johnny was shot 3 times, that's fair game. But if you want to pin me to a crime because I said I would, will, or do generally in my art, and that's used as evidence, that's a problem. I know that's cloudy, but if you're putting your name on specific crime, you blurred the line between art and reality. Yeah, I think we don't have any examples of the latter. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing I'm saying. Like, I know the reason I don't like the idea of using rap lyrics and it's not the prosecution part. I don't care about that part. But criminal enforcement is the fact that we used to have and may still have the hip hop police in New York that like followed artists around and harassed them based off of Cameron raps about moving weight with Poppy. We better start harassing this man. I think that's ridiculous.
Right.
But if you happen to be shooting people and you happen to be rapping about it, I don't know, man. Oh man, Swabby P says I voted fair because if you dumb enough to put it in there, then you probably need to go to jail. I just have a feeling that whatever crime you bragged about, you'll probably do it again, and we don't need that. I'm just saying. Also, I consider myself far from an animal rights activist, but hey, dog, do I need to call Peter? Bark twice for you, and I got you, Swabby. Yo, you know what he made me think about too is we say if you're dumb enough to put it in there, then you probably need to go to jail. And I just have a feeling that whatever crime you bragged about, you'll probably do it again, and we don't need that. It's not even just the recidivism of it, but it's like, these niggas are living their raps more and more these days.
Yeah, I don't mind you being fake.
And I keep thinking, what if I'm the person you like robbed or assaulted or something, and I'm listening to music one day and I hear you rapping about me, and I have to be like, hey, could be anything. I mean, I know it was little young murder face that shot me, but hey, could be rapping about anybody. I had no need to prosecute this.
Right. I went to 111 Luther Street Boulevard.
Right. No evidence here. Appia says, I'm obviously as far from black rap as it gets, but it seems to me that the killing part is more the problem, not the rapping about it. Honestly, they're making the job for law enforcement pretty easy. Just download a track and listen to it instead of walking around and investigating. This is also very cost effective for the police. Maybe be more creative. Instead of saying I shot that guy in his apartment, say I baked him a nice cake and bought him flowers. And
I'm sprinkling, put sugar on top.
Only you will know that flowers equals bullet. I'm sure this was somehow racist. I'm sorry, just in case. I don't think it was racist.
That's hilarious.
Racism question. The only time I ever played cornhole was at a Keith and the Girl event where there were people of our origins. It is not known here in Europe. Now in this party story, it seems to be a sign of racism. I'm confused. I could imagine it to be something from the South and therefore suspicious. Can you help me? I don't remember the story. You remember the story where cornhole was racist?
I'm not sure, because the thing is, I know I can't speak for everybody, but I didn't grow up with cornhole, and so I learned about cornhole from Roger's white friends, and so a lot of white people play it. It's not like a lot of bars around here.
I understand that, but do you remember what story it was about?
Mm-mm.
I don't either. I will say this, or maybe it was like a joke we made or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I will say this. Cornhole not necessarily racist, but it is white.
Mm-hmm.
Like white people play it.
Yeah. Most a lot of black people don't know or hear. You talking about horseshoes, because it's similar to horseshoes.
There are black people who play it,
mm-hmm.
but cornhole is essentially a white man's game. It's a white game. It's, you look at the national cornhole competition on ESPN7, and it's mostly white people. There are black people who play it. There are black people who want to write in right now, type in the email. And I'm gonna tell you right now, stop.
I am the cornhole champion of my city. How dare you, Rod?
Tell you right now, stop that shit.
We don't need to know the rules or how it's played.
You know your ass is out there feeling like a token, dealing with them white folks and all the racism that comes along with being great at cornhole. So don't even sit up there and fix your figures to defend cornhole as not a white sport. Okay, you the champion, you the Serena Williams of cornhole. Don't make it not white. Okay. Using rap lyrics in the court, fair or foul. 63% say fair, 37% say foul. Like I said, this is one of those ones I was like on the fence about, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I think I'm okay with this. Like I don't know what to tell you. Just don't rap about doing crimes that you really did do.
Right.
And until I see that first case of somebody going to jail for a crime they didn't do, but they rapped about, then I'll be like, okay, all right. But right now, I don't know. I haven't seen that example. Spotify poll, it was 54 to 46. Fair, 54-46 foul.
Okay. Did you read the YouTube comments?
Not yet.
Okay.
And the Q&A, live in the present is what I said. Keisha says, might as well learn from the past, prepare for the future, but be in the present as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Kentrell says, learning to, great interview. Thanks, Kentrell. Aretha says, I can confirm that it gets hot at UPS. I worked in a warehouse in Georgia upstairs for 21 years, and the temp always feels 10 degrees hotter. We have fans, but only some are positioned correctly to feel the air. Oh, my God. Sandy says, They better use that robot from those Boston and Deep South accents. And heaven forbid you get someone from Louisiana. Well, yeah. What are they gonna do for those accents? Yeah. That's like everybody was like, you know, we need to use it for like these Indian accents and shit. I'm like, use it for the white people too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people have like really thick accents. Like even here in America, sometimes you're like, huh, what? Right. You have certain places, you know, in the country where people talk and you know they're speaking English, but you actually have to sharpen your ears to be like, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I think a deep Southern accent should go ahead and like get the translation too. Then you can convince me that it's not racist.
Agreed.
But right now, it sounds like you're just trying to de-brown these people.
Mm-hmm.
Raphael says yes to the present. That's why I submit an application for a position in your new voice startup. I'm a strong believer in your org principles so much that I quit all NFT sales. My voice is ready.
I don't believe you. You'll be selling us NFTs next week.
I think that would be a good scam, though. I'm telling you. It wouldn't take much. And on YouTube, the comments were, well, we got a lot of comments. Rhea says, excited for this episode. It's always a good time with Mother, Father, Bro Tips on the show. My mom left a comment. Awesome show. El Lucha Dork says, Rod, that shirt is flames. He's talking about my no, really, he lost and you're in a cult shirt. And Sadia says 25 minutes later and started laughing. All right, let's go to the last episode of the week, which is, of course, the Game of Thrones recap.
Mm-hmm.
Blues, Clues, and Chill was the title of this episode. Miss Mary Smile says, see, these recaps are what made me fall in love with the Blackout Tips. Simply the best. Hey, thank y'all for all the love y'all been showing our recaps. I've seen people sharing them.
Yes.
I've seen people leaving comments on social media. People been tagging us and quoting it and telling people like, go listen to this podcast. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Y'all are making it so fun. Everyone's been really respectful of the rules.
Yes.
Where we're like, hey, can you just do us the favor of not, you know, writing in with predictions and spoilers and shit. And so far, you guys have been awesome about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And even not writing in with like a bunch of book background information that the show is going to show us or not. You know, it's like that person that wrote in last week and wanted to tell us about how rich Corliss was. Well, this week the show just told us he was the richest man in Westeros. It was really like, oh yeah, we could have waited to learn that on the show. And you know, I think it makes it more authentic when we learn it from the show in real time than if we start looking up a bunch of research and shit. Because so many podcasts do that, and it's just, we're the smartest podcast. We know what happened in the books, and we can tell you what changed. And I don't want to tell you that, guys. Too many people are already doing that.
Oh yeah.
Iman says, hey y'all, it's your girl Iman. I totally agree with y'all about the importance of showing how harrowing it was to be a woman in that time period. This storyline is very much given early Tudor dynasty, and per the poll for the time period, it would have been a smarter move to marry poor baby Lena. As much as that pains me, it would have been a callback to actual history of the mother of English King Henry III, who was married and birthed at 12. Shit. Ugh. But don't let Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish hear that. I also saw a lot of folks say they were traumatized by the birth scene of episode 1. I thought it was an important moment to show, especially with the maternal death rate in America and how the GOP is also taking choices away from women and birthing people. Folks are literally being put in deadly situations.
Agreed.
But to entertain myself further and prove to my non-House of the Dragon watching folks, I recently used plots for the show in a group confessional post. I had sisters in the tizzy until my last post where I mentioned dragons. Folks were so done, but I think I convinced some to watch. My daddy is getting remarried to my best friend. It's only been 1.5 years since my mama passed. I don't like my uncle right now, my dad's brother. He keeps looking at me like he wants me, and it's so uncomfortable. On top of that, he's bitter because my dad named me the sole heir to his estate. He really thought he'd get something in the will. Plus, my cousins are super messy too. My eldest cousin keeps trying to say my dad wants more kids. I don't care about that. I just wish my BFF had been honest with me. But I know my cousins are jealous because my family knows how to train dragons and they don't. Love the recap and love y'all. Thank you. That sounds like some 6 black chicks. Shit. Evie says, the funny part of the king considering marriage to that little girl is that white nerds weren't upset that she was so young, but because she's black. I'm gonna need the feds to come check some of these people's hard drives. Once again, this is why I'm not a community person. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Who would you have married, Lena or Allison? If you were the king, Karen.
Allison, the older girl.
Okay, 50% Allison, 50% Lena. Ooh, that was close. That's tied. That's 50-50. Don't get closer than that, y'all. Mm-mm. That's how, all that to say, that's how crazy this show is. Mm-hmm. Like, because honestly, I expect this nigga to totally get murked the fuck out over having made enemies out of some people. Because that's how the show normally works. Is
oh yeah, it's not going to end well.
You do the moral choice, which is obviously a lot of moral relative. Is morals doing a lot of work in this sentence, but you do the moral thing, and then it's like, and now your ass is dead.
Now you got to die.
Should have been evil. And on the Spotify poll is 41%, 59%. With most people saying Allison, but that's still very close. Mm-hmm. And then the comment I had for this episode was, yuck, bring back the cest. David says, if the princess keeps talking like that, she gonna fuck around, get challenged to a Agni Kai. Hashtag Zuko was right. Dorina says, both choices for Viserys Kelly to marry were messed up in the poll. I picked Allison because she is older, but also throw up. I'm here for all the salt and smoke yet to come, says Kylan. Or Kylan, Kylan, I think I said it right. Ignacio says they on some Epstein shit. Ken Nicole says, hear me out. Lena would be a power move that would benefit his daughter. He has the excuse to not bed Lena because she is too young. That gives Rhaenyra time to build support. Cleopatra did it. Shrug emoji. I'm not even saying you're wrong. Honestly. I mean, it's 50-50. It's just whoever you defend him marrying is gonna be a
problem.
It's gonna be you defending some fucked up shit. Just let you know. There's no version where you're like, okay, well, look at it like this. It's like every last one of the look at it like this is an old ass man marrying a underage chick in our underage girl in our current rules. Malik says, at least if it's Allison, it's not incest, so progress. Raphael says, y'all are the best recap in the Ram. You notice Rhaenyra's guard face anytime Otto is insulting Daemon at the bridge. He has a dragon and you insulting him outside. Peace. Run emoji. I'm married for the Ram. Hashtag poll. Yeah, I gotta say, man, that guard's face was definitely like, this nigga Otto. And I forgot to mention that during the recap, but when Otto started talking shit to Damon, he was like, I knew this nigga wanted to come here and start some shit.
Yeah, and isn't that the dude that's assigned to Rhaenyra? Like,
Westerling or whatever.
Yeah, he immediately looked like, that's why you wanted to come out here.
You did all that. Well, let me talk to him, Your Grace.
And now we all about to motherfucking be burnt up because you came out here with some goddamn pride.
Like he said, let me talk to him, Your Grace. But what he meant was, let me talk to him, Your Grace. Like that's what he really was saying. Ernest says they go from 0 to 100 real quick, didn't they? Roger says, you remind me of my carriage. Renee says the pole is a trap and I won't fall in. I mean, you listen to the recap, you listen to the review. You already in.
Whether you want to be or not.
Hilton says that R. Kelly pick took me out, shaking my head. The sea snake turned out to be a real snake. The Targaryens finna make real orange juice out of that nigga. All right, let's get to the comments on YouTube for this episode, which we had 5. Wow. Bianca says, not ivermectin. In Harmon says, I love you all's commentary. My mom says, dear brother, dear sister, great recap. Thanks, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard brother says, I enjoyed the final season too. It felt a bit rushed at times, but overall I thought it was good loot. People just like talking outside their necks online. And Bridget says, I love that y'all are wearing crowns while giving us the recap. Yeah, a few more than a few people like that touch, and I'm glad y'all enjoyed it.
Me too. They fun to wear.
All right, let's get to the voicemails. We got a couple, 3. This is from Rachel.
Hi, this is Rachel from Missouri, and I was listening to your episode. You're talking about the Duke student that was called racial slurs, and the athletic director came out and said, if you would have met her, you would love her, or whatever. And it pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of prejudice. Does he not know what the word prejudice means? Or racism? Oh my God. Like, I'm a white girl from the Midwest, and this pissed me off. Like, if racist people do they have to meet every person of a race that they don't like?
Right.
Just so they don't hate them and harass them and assault them and, like, fuck off. Like, that really pissed me off.
Yep.
That's the whole point, is he's prejudging her because of the skin tone. That is the most, yeah, so that pissed me off. He's just tone deaf and worse, I think. I think the athletic director needs to go get some sensitivity training or something, because he's a problem. I know he might think he's trying to be kind, but no, that just made it much worse. Anyway, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. I think also, so there's updates on that story, a couple of them. One, the person they did kick out turned out wasn't the person that said it. So they actually have not caught the person who was saying the N-word to the black volleyball player. Also, as an update, the South Carolina basketball team, the defending women's basketball team champions, have called off a home game exchange that they were going to have this season with BYU. And Dawn Staley, who is the coach, specifically cited this as like the athletic department's response, the fact that no coaches really did anything. She specifically cited that as like, yeah, we're not gonna play y'all because y'all failed. Y'all failed. And that speech was one of the things where I think a lot of people who are in charge of handling things like this, responding to stuff like this, they haven't really considered what it's going to look like. And so they haven't done any real work or reading around it. And they don't want to come out and just say the truth, which it sounds harsh, but hey, to me, we will not tolerate any racism. There will be no racial you just yell at them a little bit, Coach K had something similar. I don't think it was a racial thing, but I just remember whatever it was, he didn't like it. And he started telling the students, this ends now. Like, this shit is not going to happen while I'm here. And at a school, a coach, an athletic director, typically some of the highest paid people on campus, typically some of the most respected people, and people will listen to them even if they disagree. They're like, well, the coach said I can't do this,
right.
So I think you just have to set the tone, and he failed to do that. And the idea that racist people just need to meet people that are not, who are of the race that they hate or whatever. I hear what people are saying, and there's evidence that some of that is even true, right? That people tend to have less racist views and less prejudiced views after meeting people, but they just never think about the burden that it takes upon the people that got to meet the racist.
Right.
People that got
why I got to do the work and the heavy lifting for you. If I choose to, fine, but it's not an obligation on my part.
Right.
And it's one of those things where Dawn Staley speaking up was like, hey, no, I am not going to subject my players to that. That's basically what she said. Because
if you think they was racist, against the volleyball at Duke. Imagine when Don Staley team kicking their ass by 40 in the second half.
Right.
The racism really gonna hop out.
Right. She was like, I'm not gonna put my students, nor my faculty, or my staff through that, and you're not going to benefit from us coming down there, because us coming there actually benefits you, because we're the defending champs. So you're going to have people that's actually going to want to come and see us, and concession stands and all that stuff. Like, no, I'm not putting no money in your pocket over no bullshit like this.
All right, next voicemail.
This is D. Ramsey calling from Texas. Listen, Karen has been throwing out these one-liners. She has been reading folks. I am here for it. Of course, my favorite was when she did the thing about the not Negroes, of something about forget it Negroes.
Sorry,
Rod's
Negroes.
face just cracked. So Karen, love you. Rod, love you. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, and we just out here in these streets surviving, taking it one day at a time. But yeah, I just had to call because my good sis Karen has just been like not here for any of the BS and the fucketry. So can't wait for the review of House of Dragons, or the House of Dragon, whatever it's called, them dragons. So yeah, we'll be tuning in definitely today and tomorrow. All right, peace.
Peace.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, she has been killing it. And yeah, I love it. You know, often I'm navigating the show, reading a bunch of stuff, moving stuff, doing all the technical side. So
when you stop,
sometimes I can't always catch what she's saying in real time, or I catch it, but I'm still like
your brain's
moving to the next thing or whatever.
But every now and then I catch you off guard.
Yeah, but no, you're always very funny. And anytime I'm editing a show or something like that, I always know, like, I always crack up and just like, oh, Karen's just so good. She's so funny and so good at this, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Simone, last voicemail.
Hey, Rod and Karen, this is Simone. Let me see if I can talk fast. So I'm listening to episode 2591, Turn Down Tabitha Brown for What? That's a great title. And I literally said yes when Karen mentioned professional fakers. Sorry if I sound really tired. I am. Some folks are better at schmoozing and networking than getting work done, and that is harder to do remotely. So I get Karen's point. I know they're not the decision makers ultimately, but I get why they push for it. So some folks try to do it during meetings on Teams and Zoom. I don't know if you see that too, Karen, and I wish I could do the Dave Chappelle, like, wrap it up music. Remember Dave Chappelle? Anyway,
rest in peace.
Being a Tabitha Brown fan for a long time, I remember when she first went viral and talked about how validating it felt for her that she could have success being herself, presenting as a Black woman with natural hair and her own style, and that's what she talks about all the time. So why would somebody want her to change that? Why would she change that when that's what making her money anyway? And I only heard about the Food Network show because I followed Tabitha Brown. And I agree, it's probably them, and they've been playing with us for years. Because they remember that Kwanzaa cake that they did, and all these weird recipes with popcorn and salad and trying to go viral, and having these Midwestern chefs that barely like herbs and spices. Like, I don't know, but I like the show. It's real colorful and bright, and
because that's who she is.
Like that. So anyway, I'm quick about it. Y'all have a wonderful day. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
But yeah, Tabitha is very bright, and she even has her own clothing line, and she, like I said, she's touring now, and so it's like y'all need her more than she needs y'all. Like, she could be like, all right, and go on and trust somebody else will pick her up.
Yeah, and like I said, I know I'm projecting, and I don't know every detail, and purposely she didn't give us all the details, but I think it's not just her, it's a lot of people, but this is a protectiveness that I have for people like that, because it's like, this is a person that's just authentically, I'll dial back from authentic, because I'm sure, like, to a certain extent, everybody's presenting as a product, this and that. But like, her choices are very much just Blackness. Is you know, it's Southern, like the Southern accent, it's the Black hair, you know, the natural, you know, not natural hair, but also like the way she chooses to wear it with the froze and all that stuff sometimes. You know, it's her facial features, you know, her nose, her, you know, like she is very black, and she reminds me of a lot of like black people I know from this area, you know, in my life. And to see people at any point try to tell somebody, nah, it's a little like, what's wrong with her? Because this stuff, when it's somebody else, it's like this shit is considered like a positive, you know, when it's like a different, oh, we're getting exposed to different cultures of food. But with us, it's like, can you dial it back? Can you whiten it up a little bit? And I just imagine that that's what she's going through. But like I said, I can't prove it. It's just, that's what I was picking up.
Right.
All right. Emails. That's the last thing. Tiffany writes in, just a question. Every time you do the broke segment, I'm not sure what you're saying. Is broke, blank, broke. What is the third word? LOL. Sorry for the nonsensical message, but I wonder every time. Thanks. Well, Tiffany, the word is phi.
Yeah, phi.
PHI. And that is actually from a skit on Kanye West, I think the College Dropout album, where he was picking on fraternities and like going to college and stuff. And one of the segments was about how people be broke as shit in these fraternities. And it's a hilarious sketch. If you still are able to listen to Kanye West, I understand many of you Negroes have moved on, but if you're still able to listen to Kanye West, go back and check out College Dropout album and check out those sketches. Those sketches was funny, but man, he had, boy, he was kind of ahead of his time with this like fuck college's sham thing, right?
Really dope.
I think a lot of people that like that student loan forgiveness should be like, you know, Kanye used to be spitting. Nerd Geek Ninja, Amon writes in, first off, Karen, I'm so glad to found a fellow honey mustard dressing on salad buddy. Honey mustard is one of the favorite dressing sauces to put on salads. I'm also a fan of blue cheese. I make this awesome 7-layer salad using honey mustard, and it's always a big hit. Aww. I'll add the recipe after my Thrones thoughts. No, you can say the recipe. I'll skip that part. Niggas, this episode was so damn messy. What hood did G.R.R. Martin get these storylines from? Because wow, I can't wait for y'all's feedback, because these Targaryen men are some straight nigga shit. But I guess Allison's mama's dress worked after all.
I guess so.
I saw a few people mad at her online, and I don't get why. She didn't seduce the king or anything. I didn't even get the impression that she was even trying to flirt with him. This is why you have to get your RBF, resting bitch face, in order before you head out into the streets. Dudes will take a smile or kindness, and next thing you know, you engage to the king. That slimy smile.
Yes.
Lord Hightower had this had when the king announced his choice slayed me. Yeah. I think she played her role. I don't think she necessarily seduced him. I think people are gonna make it seem like she did some terrible thing of her own volition, when I just look at her as a person that's a pawn that is being used in this Game of Thrones. Her daddy said, go do this. What choice she got? I get what she's supposed to go ride a dragon. She's supposed to go to college. Huh? What she's supposed to go get a job? Like, ain't a lot of options on this show.
Sure ain't.
And that was the thing I said I loved about this week and this actual spinoff, how much they're emphasizing the first couple of episodes are like, yo, if you're a woman in this show, a girl even, you are essentially seen as just another piece to be moved towards power. That's it. Then that nigga Damon, he was straight up squatting on his niece's island. Love when Rhaenyra flew in and read him in Valerian. He threw that egg back at her like a dude bully throwing the ball back at you after you roll up with your cousins get it back. I ain't want that crusty egg no way. I also learned that there are dragons that are too big for the dragons keep. That was boggling. How you lose track of something that big? And why did the crab feeder dude look like a Batman villain? Because of the mask. Love y'all, Iman. And then she gives the recipe for the salad that we'll never make. Yeah, what I think is interesting on that is I want to see one of them big ass dragons, because they did hint in the old series, I remember Daenerys telling somebody that the reason dragons got small was because the Targaryens started putting them in the keep, and it made them get smaller and smaller just genetically. It's like each dragon born, in captivity would be smaller than it would be if it was wild.
If it was out in the open. Yeah.
Just some things. Tiffany says, dear Karen and Rod, since you shared with us your top 4 favorite dipping sauces, I decided to share mine with you. 1, Ghost Pepper Ranch from Wendy's. 2, Kickin' Ranch from Jimmy John's. 3, Jess and Jelly's Homemade Ranch. Chick-fil-A Roasted Red Pepper Dressing. I hope you try them. Also, ranch came up a lot in my phase, but blue cheese is actually my favorite. Weird. Yeah, I like ranch more than blue cheese, but either one will do, to be honest. But I'm a ranch guy, so I've tried some of the ones you're already talking about, but I'll definitely try some more. You know what I mean?
I'm open to different sauces.
Next topic. Fuck Ari Spears. Mad TV was so long ago. You know what? And he stayed mad. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's a little something, little segues for kids. And he hasn't done anything relevant since. I can't recall one sketch or character that stands out, and it's clear this character he's playing now as a sad clown is only further plummeting his near non-existent career. How many times has Lizzo had to sing, dance on stage, or on the treadmill to prove to folks she's fine? This really pisses me off because the bigger folks are immediately judged for their weight just because you can see their bigger bodies. Being a bigger person myself, I can attest that so many skinny folks eat so much more and worse than I do. Yet because their bodies respond differently, people automatically consider them healthier. Yeah, I had a roommate that could eat like a whole pizza by himself and just didn't gain weight. He just, I don't know how he could do it, but he could do it. I just like look at a slice of pizza. I'd be like, oh no. I gained a lot of weight through depression myself, so I can attest that it's not always binge eating and making the wrong choices. I've lost 80 pounds of my depression weight and continue to strive to improve my health, yet Lizzo could still run circles around me and Ari Spears. Yeah, I think it's just, the audacity, the pot calling the kettle type of thing that made a lot of people go straight to like weight shaming and fat shaming Ari Spears. And like I said, I've come to terms with it. I don't even get mad about it. And maybe, I'm a bad fat person for this, but to me, it's like the unspoken agreement is if you fat, people will leave you alone about it unless you just they stop liking you.
Right.
And I wish it was more complicated than that, but I've not really seen anyone. Yeah, people, that's the first thing people go to for despicable fat people is you fat. Whereas if you like a despicable skinny person, they got to come up with some other insult, right?
Right.
It's like I'll have to respond to the merit of your comments. But above all things, it's his audacity for me. I'm trying so hard not to slam him for his appearance, but it just astounds me how someone who looks like him could be out here making nasty public statements about Lizzo when he should be uplifting and supporting her. She's so beautiful, talented, and inspirational, never said shit about anyone, but because of her body size, she continues to contend with bitches like Ari Spears. Just because she may not get his dick hard doesn't mean he has to spew negative vibes about her. It's clear he knows nothing about her. All I can say is while he's talking about spuds and mashed potatoes, I date Mr. Potato Head before I date Ari Spears. Anyways, enough about him. He just hit a nerve and I knew I could vent to y'all. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for keeping me laughing. And I especially loved your House of Dragon recaps. Love the show, but it's particularly funny to hear your input. Can't wait for the next one. Thanks, loves. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you. And congratulations on the 80 pounds, baby.
Yeah, this dude's just a piece of shit. I don't even know what you do about people like that. Cause like somebody like that exists to be bitter and hopefully get their name out there.
That's the whole purpose and point.
And like
he said so.
Yeah, I think he's open about it. He don't care. I almost sometimes I struggle with should I even cover it on the show, but we're a show that talks about what people are talking about. So it feels weird to like have these huge omissions of topics when like everyone's bringing them up, but that was when I struggled with like, should we even mention this shit? Because it's like I know what he wants and he ain't nobody. The main thing I worry about is just people like like Lizzo, the time she's dealt with depression, the time she's cried to everybody on the internet and shit. I worry about when those moments happen and how much pain and how much does this really affect her, even though she, tries to move as if it doesn't. You never know if it's really getting to you because these people are young. Like,
yes, they are.
So young people that are very famous, dealing with social media and all this attention and fame and celebrity. And we've just seen fame, celebrity, attention, all this shit just drag people down.
We've seen people actually leave social media, and for some of them, they are like, not only am I leave social media, I think it was one girl who was like a rapper who had just broke out, and they started harassing her. She was like, "Oh no, I'm not doing this rap shit. I don't have to do none of this." She just literally just stopped her career and was like, "I can go do some other shit because I don't have to deal with y'all fucking harassing me."
Yeah. Asher and Bro cooked that up episode. Right. Because of the heat, I always, when able, give bottles of cold water to delivery people when they come to my house to drop off packages in the mail. That's the Ron. Thanks, man. Aww. That's nice of you. Leonard Brothers, yo, what up? Just wanted to drop a few thoughts about episode 2 of them Thrizones, aka House of the Dragon. One, they thank God King V is a sensible man and didn't decide to marry Corlys and Rhaenyra's daughter. Rhaenys' daughter. Marion Allison isn't much better, but damn, that would have been wow. Also, this new alliance with Corlys, Nis and Daemon is going to be pretty beastly. King V better watch his back. He's got all the ops now. He might not survive the season. I was thinking, you said Corlys, Rhaenys, and Daemon. I wonder if Rhaenys knows or not. They give me a vibe of a couple that talks and she would know, but just in that meeting, we didn't see her.
So she literally she put like this. She might get the news on Twitter like everybody else, on the Dragon Twitter like everybody else, going, "Oh shit, what my husband done?"
Number 2, yo, when Nera flew over them niggas on the Dragon. Oh, and also you said you glad he was a sensible man for not marrying Lena. I don't know that was the sensible choice. Yeah, I think the choice he made was with his heart. I think of those two, he obviously has been spending time with Alicent. She's older, and I think he does genuinely like her. And I think she genuinely wants to please her father. And I think honestly, she genuinely likes him. Just obviously, if she had a druther, if she had autonomy, she'd be dating some young night nigga or something. But this is the game. 2, yo, when Nera flew over them niggas on that dragon, she looked just like Dany. That shit was hard. The whole scene was ill. I wonder what the fuck Otto thought was gonna happen when he ran up on this nigga Daemon. Though he lucky his bum ass didn't get flamed up and tossed over that wall. Yeah, it's like he really had not considered that dragon and
hadn't crossed his mind. He was just blinded on, I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna show him. It's like, yeah, you do know he left on the whole ass dragon, right? So nobody thought about we might need to have a dragon of our own.
I don't think I had a lot more respect for that dude's cunning before that moment. I was like, hey, look, I don't necessarily like the way he moved, but he seemed like he a real chess player. And then he was like, oh, you got a dragon? I was like, nigga, you knew he had a dragon. Right. You knew that shit for y'all hopped on them horses. What the fuck you looking scared for?
You got the memo. He was sent away on the dragon. What is happening here?
3, bro, that crusty crab nigga that he showed at the end is going to be a problem. I think he's going to be like the Night King in the sense he doesn't give a shit about politics, succession, etc. like everyone else. He's there to burn it all down. That's it for now. Peace. We'll see, man. That could go either way. Like, I can see them, like, him really being like a beast. And I could also see them being like, he's just a tool to get, like, he was light work, took him a couple episodes to knock his ass off. And
I think
Daemon's the real threat to the throne.
I can see that. I think he's gonna be a problem. That's just
because I think killing him makes Daemon the real threat to the throne.
Okay, I can see that.
Because then people are like, the king didn't do shit. Daemon took care of business. He should be the fucking heir. Okay, fuck Rhaenyra.
And it starts more conflict and confusion. Yes.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he's gonna be a beast, but the fact that they haven't given him any lines,
correct,
makes me less.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I feel less that he's gonna be a full-blown character, but I could be wrong. They just need to give him some lines.
Correct.
This one's from Evelyn, who says, "Good morrow to Queen Karen of House Jackson, true host of The Black Guy Who Tips, and welcome honored guest, if there is one, and Squire Roderick." Where's the shade for me, Evelyn? What'd I do to you? Wow.
You got knocked up and down to Squire. What's happening here?
We ain't never had no problems with him. I won't keep you too long. Just wanted to say that this new show has proven to be great thus far. And your recaps of House of the Dead is the icing on the cake. I love this last episode, and I have to say everyone on the cast is really acting their asses off. This week, my MVP goes to that little girl playing Lena. She is doing some amazing work, not just because she handled all the dialogue and emotions for her scenes, but because she did all that while performing as a child whose mama clearly don't know how to do her baby hair. That wig was a war crime. Out of curiosity, not sure if you said before, what is the sigil of House Tips? Oh, it's a black power fist. Man, if you was in the chat, I'd show you, but you or if you want to watch it on, fuck. I was gonna say I'll make it if I can find the show art, if I can make it the show art if I can find it. Yeah. But it's a black power fist that has around it House Jackson approved. And it's a design from NegroCon that a fan made, and it was just so awesome. But yeah, I can't wait to hear your insights. I gotta go eat dinner for some reason. I have a taste for a crab boil. I wish you good fortune in the years to come. Notorious EVE. Oh, this is EVE. Oh, okay. Well, the shade is received. I respect it. I get it. P.S. I mean, what I'm gonna say, I've shitted on many things EVE has said. It's only fair. P.S. Renera got to issue Allison with the Jakkar's fade for real. I'm just saying, man, that I can't wait to see how that relationship is affected. Because you can see the betrayal on her fucking face.
Yeah, she looked like, she was looking like, what are you doing here? And then when she pieced it together, she looked at her daddy, looked at her daddy, looked at her, was like, oh, bitch, I'm out.
Eve, wait, so this is another EVE. So there's two EVEs?
Apparently
I'm confused. So. Okay, then the previous EVE, I take it back. We ain't never had no problems because the one with the problems wrote in right after you. Hi, Rod and Karen. I'm calling CPS no damn way. Corliss trying to push that baby on that dusty old ass king. Dracarys, I'm gonna burn some sage and say a prayer for that black baby girl because fuckery has begun. I was rooting for that brother till he tried to pimp his daughter out. I gotta say a prayer for Renaria too because she just 15. So is Allison. I hope they don't Ned Stark her because I'm digging her character. I fear for everyone's life on this show, EV. Well, I do think in the previews we saw a time jump of older Renaria, so we know she's not gonna die. But I mean, at least young. But yeah, Corliss being black doing a lot of work. But I gotta say, I love the way they're writing this show so far because, and they did promise this. There's no clear good guys. Like so far, only Renaria to me is the only person you're like seems like a protagonist with no reason not to root for her. Everybody else got at least one thing where you like, I don't know about that.
Again.
Emil says, hi, K-Rod. I was rooting hard for Corliss Valerian, but he declared in no uncertain terms on that pimping wasn't quite easy. Yikes. Rule number 1 in Game of Thrones universe: don't root for anybody till season 3 or 4 because anybody can turn out to be a reprehensible motherfucker. Yep. Jason says, what up, Rod and Karen and fellow members of House Tip Arian? Thanks for the work you guys do. I'm so excited to have a chance to experience the New Thrones experience with our community. Yeah, and from the beginning. Last time, we didn't get into it till like season 3 or something. 3 things. 1, I don't know about y'all, but I heard Damon basically tell Rhaenyra, girl, here, take this funky ass egg and tell your daddy I said fuck him and Hightower punk ass. Yeah, you know what it reminded me of is this clip.
Good morning, scrub. Get you a little fort, huh? Fuck about your little fort, nigga.
I hate you.
I hate you too, little nigga. You ain't my son.
Snoop Dogg and Baby Boy. 2, I was happy that Viserys had reservations about marrying Lena because that's a child. But upon further review, I must ask, how low is the bar that we congratulate folks for not being pedophiles and still marrying a 15-year-old? So,
I guess depending on what state he in,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, like he got to move to Utah now. 3, this was the face when Corliss Billy Ocean Valerian offered up that baby. Pure disgust, and it was the white dude taking off his headphones picture. We were rooting for you, Billy Ocean. We were all rooting for you. Emmanuel says, what's good, Rod and Karen? This is Emmanuel, aka Many Voices. You likely don't know me, but I just want to say thank you. Listen to the Blackout Tips podcast throughout the last few years. Started in 2013 when y'all were literally the first podcast I ever checked out. It has helped immeasurably on my self-care, self-love journey, particularly when it comes to becoming more of my authentic self. You've been such a source of joy, information, and laughter, and even the comforting voices in my head at times as I grapple with depression, anxiety, etc. The Blackout Tips got me through a whole PhD, and it's continued to lift me into the years since I became Dr. Little. It led me to a podcast about my own journey, the No Wednesday podcast, which in turn led to a whole album called Call It Morning that I just released, which talks candidly about my life over the last decade or so. I'm not asking you to listen, but I just wanted to salute you and make you aware, at least indirectly, you inspired a whole album. As a token of my appreciation, I'm giving you a free download code, music and dope liner notes via Bandcamp to use if you desire. It's streaming pretty much everywhere, of course, if you prefer other avenues as well. Again, no pressure. I'm sure you get spammed with stuff often, and I don't want to add to the noise or get added to the fucking with black people segment, LOL. I just wanted to thank you and offer up something free to you and host that it'll lift you in the ways your show has lifted me. Keep doing what you do and being your dope, authentic selves. You never know whose life you'll impact. Thanks. And I wish you well. Be easy. Dr. Emmanuel Little, aka Many Voices. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, whole ass doctor.
You let us.
You know, we got some smart niggas that follow us.
Right.
All them letters behind all these folks' names out there.
And Tiffany wrote back in. She said I didn't have to read this on the air if I don't want to, but fuck it. Okay. Hey Karen and Rod and Karen, I just wanted to explain something that just happened. I sent a package to you guys for the Blackout Tips anniversary, and the message may seem a little weird. Rod, you're getting your gift on Saturday, but Karen, yours is coming between the 9th and the 15th. Good old Amazon capitalism. Won't let me be great. LOL. Anyways, it's the thought that counts, right? I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it's the thought that counts. You don't have to get us shit, okay?
Yeah.
The fact you got us anything.
Yeah, it's all optional, baby.
Think I won't blow the dust off my mailbox and go get this?
Yes, sir.
Also, in my last email, I said roasted red pepper sauce from Chick-fil-A is one of my favorites. I lied. It's roasted honey barbecue, but because of the color, I always call it the wrong name. Black folks, am I right? They know. They know what
we'll rename something in a heartbeat.
They know what the hell I mean.
Yes, honey, I got several things. I just be calling it the wrong shit, and Roger be like, "That's not what she meant."
As always, thanks for the pie. Happy anniversary. Love, Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. John writes in, new snake oil and pumpkin season. Good morning, Karen, and anyone else who might be reading this. I'm with Rafi. What is happening today with the shade? Did I do something last week?
I don't know, but people are just leaving you off.
I understand y'all enjoyed Karen last week, but I mean, damn.
He's like, I was on the show too.
I didn't know it was a versus. I thought we were just doing a regular podcast.
I guess I won the versus. I didn't even know we were versing each other.
Jesus. I'm with Raphael. Carlton was robbed. I may not have voted in the poll, but like a good American, I'm going to complain about it anyway. The primary was rigged. Stop the steal. Raphael hit me up on social media to plan our insurrection. The fans will never think to look there. Rod, just wanted to chime in on your search for a good watchable news source. C-SPAN is very good, very dry, straightforward. PBS and NPR are also good in that they don't do the outrage panic thing quite as bad as Mad Owl and other MSNBC shows. But they both are still pretty annoying at times. NPR panders to white liberals, so they way too often accept and echo shitty GOP talking points with little to no pushback or critical analysis. Yeah. I've seen that too. That's one of the reasons I don't really listen to NPR that much, but I don't find them to be like offensively bad or anything. It's just more like the NPR is the kind of people that'll have someone on that'll say some shit like, Joe Biden's speech was just too political when he said that America's democracy is under threat from MAGA Republicans. That's just, he really went too far, and I feel like that doesn't help us, and they'll have someone like that and treat it earnestly, whereas I would prefer to either not talk to those people or be like, fuck them people.
Agreed.
They both happily went along with the GOP's manufactured outrage over the Afghanistan withdrawal, scaremongering about inflation, and now couching the Mar-a-Lago story in the preferred GOP framing of mishandled documents rather than stolen property. They also do a lot of lazy both sides bullshit, or just engage in the he said, she said quotes, or the two parties without giving any context or pointing out the facts. Research support one side but not the other. Well, I will say this though, our local NPR is better than that.
Yes, it is.
So I maybe it's different for where you stay, but I know the Charlotte NPR not that messy. Like maybe some of the national shows might be like that, but yeah, they routinely downplay the evil of the GOP, exaggerate the faults of Democrats. Obviously, they're nowhere near as bad as Fox News, but you will still probably, you probably see that NPR and PBS are incredibly afraid of being seen as biased towards Dems, so they constantly bend over backwards to give Republicans and Trump supporters legitimacy. Because they probably got their funding on the line. That Houston restaurant story was so absurd. If you had someone come in smelling like weed, why not try and upsell the shit out of them by pushing extra appetizers and desserts, etc.? Stone people love to eat. Skip the racism, monetize the munchies. Well, you know why. Like that, I didn't even bring up that part of the racism, but black people smell like weed. Come on. In the COVID news, did you see that the House Select Committee on COVID released an incredibly damning report last week? No big surprise for anyone who was paying attention, but the big takeaways are that the Trump administration pushed hydroxychloroquine even after it's shown to be ineffective and possibly dangerous. Coordinated with conspiracy theorists to pressure the FDA and attack Fauci in the media. Tried to block the FDA's emergency use guidance of vaccine once it realized it wasn't going to be ready for the 2020 election to allow Trump to take credit. Here's the thing. First of all, I did bring up some of this, but I brought it up when we talked about the CDC reorganizing under Rachel Walensky. And the thing for me was when people were like, I don't trust the CDC. They mismanaged it. And the Biden administration fucked it up too. When you look at what they were talking about being mismanaged, most of that shit was under the Trump administration.
Right.
And so I was like, I kind of hate the way this thing is played out because unfortunately people still associate the CDC with because they've been the through line through both administrations, right? It's not like you hire a new CDC person when you become president. So like, unfortunately, people have associated the CDC with this like level of machination and incompetence and all this stuff, but there's no acknowledgement that they were kneecapped by Trump
purposefully.
And so when people go, I don't trust them, it's like, why don't you trust them? It's like, oh, the mask thing, they fucked that up. Did they fuck up, or they were basically kneecapped?
Right.
Oh, with the vaccine rollout, they wouldn't, like, a lot of this stuff was purposeful by Trump. And I hate that they got to win this. And it seems that they won because I listen to people that I think are reasonable, but they come down on this like, oh, fuck the CDC, they ain't shit. And it's like, Trump did erode the belief in their in them, and it worked.
That was his whole point. Trump is not a smart man, don't get me wrong, but it does not mean that there aren't smart people around him that kind of help and push him to do certain things if he thinks that will keep his base on his side. And so his whole purpose was for you to have distrust in the way the system functions. He didn't want you to trust the CIA. He didn't want you to trust the FBI. He didn't want you to trust the CDC. Like he don't want you to trust it. He didn't want you to trust the mail. He didn't want you to trust the voting systems and how they work. The whole purpose is you don't trust them on both sides. The whole purpose is like you bring up so many questions, you don't trust these things. So what happens when you don't trust these things, anything that they say, even if it's based in facts, even if it's based in truth, a lot of people will reject it or will have problems with it or will scrutinize it, even though in a lot of these fields, these people have went to school, this is their job, this is what they do. It causes a problem, and this distrust is going to be hard to repair, and in my opinion, it makes the populace very stupid. So when these people are coming out and trying to do their job for the protection of the populace, yes, you should question things. Yes, you should be looking at things. Yes, you should investigate. Please don't get me wrong, but I have never seen this thing where even logical thinking people begin to question institutions that their whole problem, like, how can I say this? I've never seen people that are like very, very logical come out and say these institutions who have never been political. Trump purposely made them political too. And so since Trump made them political, everybody feels like all these things are political when they're not. We don't give a fuck about the politics because Republican there or Democratic there, our jobs are the same for a lot of these positions. And so it's very frustrating, like you say, when you see people and you go, you're not using your critical thinking skills when it comes to these matters. You're just going, well, they said something and they backtrack and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of it is that Trump, in my opinion, purposely constantly kept so much fucking chaos too. Also, a lot of this chaos he created around the CDC and all that stuff. A lot of people have PTSD around that. They will not never admit it. You have PTSD around that. Fauci says something, Trump will immediately come behind this nigga in a speech that he don't got shit to do with. He won't let this man do his job. Come behind him and fucking contradict him. That's Trump. But people don't look at it as this is the fucking Trump problem. They go, what is something wrong with this? When his whole thing was just to fucking sabotage the whole thing.
Yeah, I just think it worked, you know.
Right.
And it's sad that it worked because I think the people at the CDC do the best they can, but the administrations definitely control a lot. And even when it's good for the economy or good for science or good for people or whatever, at this point, everyone's going to see it as a political decision before they see it as a health decision. And then also because a lot of people online are, of course, skewed towards like, let's stay in the house forever. Let's never do anything again. Anything they say that's not that is gonna get shot down. Like,
correct.
So, and it doesn't matter how the rest of the world is handling or anything. It's like we're very, myopic. We see America first and America only. So anyway, but yeah, he did that. You can read the whole report here to literally try to push snake oil during a deadly pandemic and use every level of power to do so. It's just wild that this isn't a story, even a story on the news. Yeah, I really just wish people would cover some of the stuff that Trump and them did with the CDC, because that was a big deal to me. I mean, it was stuff that we talked about on the show, but we have proof that they literally had people sabotaging the CDC, and instead we just go, the CDC ain't shit, fuck Joe Biden, as opposed to like, how did we lose faith,
Yes, and a lot of the people, yeah, they put Trump in office because they wanted him to, quote unquote, treat it like a business. And what businesses do, if they think certain things aren't profitable, they get rid of them. He literally came in, and the people's whose whole ass job was to keep their ear to the ground and listen to shit happening all around the world so they can predict and get shit ready for us when they think shit is going to come here. He fucking disbanded that whole goddamn group because in his mind, there was no fucking reason for him.
Okay, I'm off to do some frolicking in my Make America Mexico Again t-shirt to see if I can get canceled. Sydney Sweeney is actually a pretty good actress and was surprisingly funny on White Lotus, though like a Gayle King encore interview is easy to get distracted. Yeah, I mean, listen, she got them things. They sitting. No, I hope she doesn't DM me and tell me and attack me because you know, I feel like what's the show? Euphoria is just 8-hour advertisement for her cleavage. Okay, I said it. All right, cancel me. Try that, Negroes. P.S. I can't. I'm just lying. I don't really watch that show. P.S. I can't remember where I saw this image, but naturally it made me think of you. See it attached, and it was pumpkin spice. The universe was a pumpkin spice. I can tell you where you saw that image on a T-shirt. I have it already. Ain't much pumpkin spice stuff I don't got. Trey says, Rod and Karen, just wanted to wish you two wonderful people happy anniversary, happy podcast anniversary on this wonderful the Blackout Tips Day. Well, it's not our podcast anniversary, but it is our Blackout Tips Day. Our podcast anniversary is actually like the beginning of January. Thank you two for all that you do with your show every day. You guys are changing lives and minds every day with you guys. What you guys do on your podcast in such a positive way. Love y'all both so much, fam. Always, Trey. Thanks, Trey.
Thank you.
And that's everything. And that's everybody. It took us 2 hours, but we got it done. We appreciate y'all.
And shout out to the people leaving comments on YouTube. For those of you that don't know or might not be aware, you can watch us on YouTube, and people are, and they're streaming and they're liking and they're subscribing. Please continue to do that to show us love. For a lot of people that said it's very convenient. They can watch us on their computer at work. They can, toss us on their smart screen and things like that. So this is another way that you guys can see us, and we appreciate you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow, the show, we have guests. The show will be at 4. But we had a crew from American Timelines. Is a podcast I listen to all the time, and they also Joe, the husband and co-host of the show, is the person we work with whenever we do our live shows. He works at the venue. And his wife, Amy, they co-hosted together, and I can't wait to talk to them as a fan of their show. But they'll be the guest tomorrow, and we'll get to hopefully introduce y'all to a cool podcast y'all can check out, because I listen to it all the time. All right, that's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everyone.